Marquette Devon Burton, the saint and the sinner, giving you lessons from a pimp. Today, folks, we have a meaningful topic. And I don't just go live just to go live. I go live when there's a message on my heart. And I've been thinking a lot about, why are so many guys angry with women? I think a lot of it comes from disappointment. And where does that disappointment come from? It comes from when there's a misalignment between your expectations and what you actually get out of the woman. And I figured out where that's really coming from. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I see we got a couple folks who want to join the call. So I'm going to do a brief little talk, and then I'll go ahead and merge you guys in to share your questions. So the first thing is we're talking about how to not overinvest in females you're interested in. And for ladies, how to not overinvest in a man you're interested in. And what I mean is that often when you meet someone, whether you met them online on Tinder or you met them out in the world, you might have exchanged contact information. You're exchanging a few text messages here and there. You're DMing on Instagram. You're building up rapport and you're getting excited about this girl. You're like, oh man, like this might be the one. She's shaped like that. She looked like this. She got personality. Her mama go to church. She come from a good family. And you're excited. And in your head, you're building her up to be more than she is in most cases, right? But this is what happens. You overinvest in the female, meaning that you overinvest yourself emotionally, getting excited about what she could be before you figured out what she actually is. So you're building her up in your mind to be something that is based on your image of her rather than the substance of her. That's number one. Ace, I appreciate you kicking off the super chat. Appreciate you showing love. Number two, so that's the first way you overinvest is emotionally. She's not shown or proven anything to you. She's not sacrificed for you. She's not invested in you in any way. But all of a sudden, you're pouring out your heart. You feel like she's the one. That's number one way you overinvest. Number two way you overinvest is financially. You're about to go out on that first date, and you're over here thinking like, oh, man, like I really want to impress this girl. Like, let me take her to the nice restaurant. Yeah, baby, go ahead, get that filet mignon. Go ahead, order that A5 Kobe beef. Get the Wagyu. Hell yeah, girl. We're going to pop a bottle tonight. So you're spending financially. But you have to remember as a businessman, when you spend $1, you expect to get value back. So how can you make an investment in something you're not sure is an asset, something or someone who could be a liability? So that's the second way you overinvest is financially. The third way you overinvest in a potential romantic interest is time-wise. You see, you have to look at a date just like a busy businessman looks at a meeting. It has to have a start time and an end time, meaning that you have to set a clear end time so you can escape just in case things are going badly or just in case you meet the girl and you realize, man, this girl is brain dead or this girl smells funny. Whatever the case is, you need an exit strategy so that you're not overinvesting your time because your time is precious. And if you're dealing with a female who doesn't have much meaning in her life, maybe she's unemployed, maybe she's very young and has a lot of free time, she will drain you of that precious resource. So you have to be thoughtful about that and protect your time. So just to review, the 3 ways you overinvest. Number 1, you overinvest your emotions before you validated that there's a mutual bond. Number 2, you overinvest capital. You paying for all her stuff. You trying to tell her, hey, baby, order whatever you want on the menu. It's on me. And then number 3, you overinvest your time, not realizing that things that are scarce are more valuable. So you don't want to give of your time. You want to be thoughtful about your time. Alpha General, appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to talk to the people today. We're going to educate the saints. You heard me? So those are the 3 major ways. What I want to do is give you a few quick anecdotes to illustrate how even I have succumbed to these things. But remember, my situation and your situation are not the same. When you look at the world, you always have to first ask yourself, Who am I? How am I positioned in this world? You understand? So I'm going to give you an example of how I've made some mistakes in overinvesting, and also how I've made some investments and they paid off in terms of the romantic realm. And this information is good for both the male and the female. Dominique, living this foolish situation with some black man's kryptonite. Thank you for the donation, brother. So the first one I want to talk about is a situation where I overinvested. And I'm particularly talking about an overinvestment of capital, of dollars. The reason I rarely overinvest emotionally is because I've gotten enough experience with women to, number one, have enough volume to where no single female has me ensnared. No single female has captured enough of my heart for me to be smitten. So I don't overinvest emotionally because I have enough experience. If you're a younger man, that's usually the first thing you'll be victim of, is falling in love too quickly. Only fools rush in. So I had a situation where, as you guys may know, I produce women's wrap skirts, which is a one-size-fits-all skirt for women. So I needed to shoot some photographs for this wrap skirt. So at the time, I was opening up an office in Erie, Pennsylvania for my tech business. So I looked up a number of models that were locally, and I invited over this one particular female model who was very attractive. Caramel, very thin, huge rack. Rack was just big for no reason because she was very slim, nice, natural hair, which is how I like my African-American sisters. If you African, I like you to wear that hair natural, baby. And so she showed up looking just like that. And, we shot some gorgeous photos. And any of you guys who are photographers or in the fashion industry know that often you end up photographing a woman, she really feels like the center of attention, especially when you're gassing her up as you're taking the photographs. So that's really going to put her in the right mindset to open up a door. The great thing about it is that she came to take the photographs for free because it turned out that we had a mutual friend in LA. So anyway, she takes the photographs, and just as a token for her time, I sent her a gift card to like Amazon or something. So I sent her a gift card, and then a little while later I said, hey, I'm kind of new in town and I didn't know if you had any plans tonight. So if you want to hang out, just like completely removed from the professional side of what we did earlier, if you want to hang out socially, let me know. She was like, absolutely. I thought you'd never ask. So we went out that night, hung out, had a really good time in every sense of the word. And then I was like, all right, cool. Well, I actually am not going to be living here. I'm moving back to Las Vegas out west. So anyways, if you ever want to pull up, let me know. I'll bring you through. So she was just in town in Pennsylvania on a break from school because she's in graduate school. So she goes back to Philly. You heard me? So I'm in Vegas. She's in Philly. I'm thinking, you know what? I wouldn't mind beating that down because I didn't really get to beat it down like I want to. Sometimes you beat it down the first time. The girl's not super comfortable. You don't get to really max it out like you want to. And she never been to Vegas. So I hit her line. I said, hey, shorty, you want to come through? She was like, absolutely. I've been waiting for you to invite me. You said you'd invite me. I was wondering if you're a man of your word. Oh, I said, man, I tell you, my word is worth gold. So let's get you on the plane. She says, no problem. She gives me all of her information. I go ahead and book her a round trip, right? So I book her a round trip to Vegas. This is actually during COVID-19 at this point. So I met her before COVID. Now this is during COVID. So I go ahead and book the information. Flights are all set up. And I want to say maybe it was 2 days before she was supposed to fly out. I want to say she actually sent me a text message. She sent me a text message and said, hey, I work with vulnerable populations, young people with Down syndrome and autism and all these different things. And it's very close quarters contact. So it wouldn't be responsible of me to fly out to Las Vegas to hang out and be at risk when I know I have to come back and work with these kids. My first thought was, bitch, if you don't get that bullshit out of here, ain't nobody on that. So long story short, she backed out. Now, I want to caution you that the reason people back out, there can be a multitude of reasons. In this case, when you don't build the rapport strongly enough, you don't want to invest $1 into the female unless you know it's a high-risk investment. In this case, I knew it was a very high-risk investment, and I was really only flying her out for physical gratification, and I knew that in advance. So in general, you would say that's an overinvestment. because you're investing in someone where you know it's a high risk investment because she's unlikely to follow through on her word because so few people are people of their word. However, I said you have to consider your position. So in my position, I had enough extra pocket change to peel out to fly her out. So to me, it's not a major loss. Now, maybe if you're an average Joe and a bitch cancels a couple of days before, you can't get the money back from the flights, so you're taking an L. So that's one thing to be thoughtful of what your position is. So for me, I wanted the convenience to have the bitch come through. To me, getting the bitch on the airplane is like sending the bitch on an Uber. You heard me? So that's number one. Jay Lyons, appreciate the support, Saint. So to me, that's like sending the hoe on an Uber, but it was an overinvestment. There are definitely better chicks I could have invested in. So that's one example of financially overinvesting in a female. If you want that to work out well, you generally need to invest more time with her, build up the bond so that she'll feel more guilt in canceling. And also so you know if she's an honest woman, so that if she says, yes, I will come, she'll actually come. Now, let me just give you a counter example because I always want to paint the full picture for you guys. I met a chick in Missouri, a dancer. You heard me? You know what kind of dancer. Body was crazy. So I met her one night in Missouri, kicked some crazy game at her. She asked for my number. I said, cool. She said, where you heading to? I said, I'm just passing through. I live in Vegas. She's like, for sure. I never been. I was like, you never been? You should come through for a spin. She was like, hey, bet. I'll do it. I said, bitch, don't play with me because I'll fly your ass out the next day. She was like, hey, get it cracking. I'm all the way with it. We booked the ticket. She comes through, man. Showed up. No problem. We had a great weekend. Man, she treated me like a king, did everything I wanted. And it was like having your own private sex slave for a whole weekend, man. It was lovely. So that's the other side of the coin. I didn't have a lot of rapport with her, but she had the respect and recognition of the kind of man I am, and she was very much so interested in me. One thing you guys got to be conscious of is these dating coaches out here will tell you all variety of, hey fellas, you know, I don't text her till like 3 weeks later, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna pursue her. I ain't gonna do a cold approach. I'm gonna let them talk to me. All of this stuff, I don't think it works across the board. Those are not hard and fast rules. What you need to be unable to do is to interpret a female. You don't listen to a female, you interpret a female because they rarely say what they truly mean. Females are rarely speaking the truth. So when you listen to them, you have to filter and get a greater understanding. You also have to interpret the body language, the behaviors, the looks, how they behave. Are they intimidated? Are they nervous? So all of those things will let you know how much the woman is into you. If she's very into you, hey man, when you tell her to jump, she gonna say how high. And if you the pimping, if you tell her to jump and she jump and you say stop right there, she gonna freeze midair. You dig? So that's another thing to understand. So that was one time that I overinvested financially. Actually, those were 2 times I overinvested financially. One didn't work, one did work. The golden rule, the more time you spend building rapport, the more valuable your dollar will be when you invest it because you'll have higher levels of certainty that this woman is an asset, not a liability. So of the 2 women, the one who didn't actually pull up, I don't talk to her anymore. She's trash. And the great thing for me, I was able to figure that out at a low price financially for me. The other chick who came out, we had a great weekend, that locked us in deeper. That built our relationship because she knows I'm trill now. You heard me? She spent a whole weekend with me, soaked me up. She know what the aura is like. She know what the lifestyle is like. She know how I get down. So I can hit her line anytime and say, come through. She know it's all real. You feel what I'm saying? So those are 2 situations of big investment and how it paid out. Now let me tell you of another situation because I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I be having hoes coming in from all over the world, all over the planet Earth, hoes in different country codes and zip codes. So another chick, and this one was particularly disappointing because this one I had invested in emotionally and I invested in financially, and I'm gonna tell you about this one. So number one, this particular young lady, I put in a different category because she's a religious woman, right? And I always rank my religious women, my women of faith, higher than women who are not of faith. So I'm going to give you 2 examples. I'm going to give you a good example and a counter example because I really want you guys to understand the fullness of what you're dealing with. So both of these women were Muslim hijabis. The first one that I dealt with, she actually was coming from out of the country, and we had built up rapport. We wanted to meet up, hang out, and she came through. We had a great time. Went to some, I think we went to a play, went to an orchestra thing. I'm blanking right now on what it's called, but kind of went to like a number of like very upscale events, so to speak. Had a great time. She was a woman of her word, showed up when she said she was going to show up, was willing to pay her half on everything. She was also making investment. Anytime you have a female that's also putting in investment, that's when you know you have a chick that's mature, number one. You have a chick that's probably financially stable. You have a chick who doesn't want to owe you anything. A woman who's not a whore doesn't want to owe you. She's going to want to pay for her stuff up front because she knows the more she takes from you, the more she's indebted, so to speak, and she kind of owes you in some way. Hey, bro, really like the way you talk. Really captivate people. Keep it up. Thank you. Why would a girl act submissive around you and give you signs of interest but still won't go out with you? I will come to that. I'm going to leave that one up. Thank you for the super chat. So when a woman does not accept you paying for everything, that's because she doesn't want to be indebted. A low-class woman will let you pay for everything because either she doesn't have money or B, she's willing to pay off the debt with her body. You understand what I'm saying? Sator, thank you for the super chat, my brother. I'm going to definitely come back to all these super chatted questions once I finish up here. So this young lady came from out of the country, paid for her half of everything, paid for her own flights. We went and had a great time. We built a strong relationship. Lovely young lady. Still love her to this day. That's hijabi number one. Hijabi number two, black hijabi, the second one. I said, hey, let's link up. And this one actually comes from wealth. So she was supposed to come on a private jet. She called me up when she was at the Clearport on video call. So I was like, okay, cool. You in the place to be. Some things went funny with the private jet. So she didn't get to take the charter down. I was like, all right, cool. But what she should have done was get on a commercial that same day or the next day. It didn't happen. I had already booked a hotel. And when I'm going to do something, I booked the hotel, not that she wants. I booked the hotel that I want. And I want to stay 4-star or better. Preferably 5-star. If I'm in Las Vegas, it's going to be 5-star because there's a lot of 5-star options. So I book a very plush hotel, and she basically hollers at me like, hey, I can't come through. And I'm over here like, bitch. Why? For two reasons. One, because I invested financially, and two, because I invested emotionally, which is the worst investment. Because the emotional investment should come last. Why? Because this one requires the most of you. This can change your mind state. This can make you happy. This can make you sad. This can mess up your business day. Your emotions, you really have to be cautious about investing. Money you can invest because you can always get $1 back. You can replace $1, right? You really got to be conscious of how many dollars you have before you start investing foolishly. But the reason that this one didn't go through is, one, the girl didn't have any integrity. Integrity is something that women are either raised with from good parents, they get over a lifetime, or they learn integrity through experience. Maybe they end up in a prestigious university and they find that it requires hard work and dedication to thrive. And that mentality they use to thrive in courses, they bring that to other areas of life. Maybe they had some experience that helps them develop integrity. But if you grow up in the lap of luxury, you're likely to not have integrity if you've never had responsibility, never held down a job. Or if you grow up in poverty and your parents have not achieved well and they have not taught you values and work ethic, you're unlikely to have integrity. So the young lady didn't have integrity, which means that when you've never had a job, you've never earned $1 on your own, you've never worked hard, you've never had to sacrifice, you don't know the value of time. You don't know the value of $1. You don't know the value of your word. So those things are not valuable to you. So you're easily inclined to waste that when it's someone else's dollar, when it's someone else's time, when it's someone else's word that they're going to be there to meet up with you. You'll forget about that. You'll value it low because you don't have that. We value in others what we have in ourselves. So that one didn't go through. She didn't show up, and that tremendously damaged the relationship permanently. And for me, it put her in debt. So she has to earn her way back into my good graces. You understand? But my error was this. You can never take a female at their word. You've heard the terminology, a man of his word. You've never heard a woman of her word, because for the most part, they're not creatures that are locked into their word because they're emotional. You maintain your word through being rational, principled. Those are the things that make you stick to the script. Women can become emotional and that makes them fall away from the script. You heard me? I've seen situations where a cat caught a case and his girlfriend cheated on him. Excuse me, his girlfriend snitched on him because the FBI and the policing force told her that he cheated on her. So she's like, oh, he cheated on me? And then she snitched on him and sent him to jail for a long time. Now, how does that balance up? It doesn't balance up. When the woman's emotions get involved, all bets are off, gentlemen. So that's it. Those are two instances where it worked out and didn't work out with me investing emotionally and financially into religious women. You really have to get a sense of who they are before you invest. The last investment a man or a woman should make in someone that's new is emotional. I'm going to go ahead and answer some of these questions. Then I'm going to merge in Darnell Carter into the call. Sorry, I don't know if you wanted me to say your whole government, but you typed it in as your title, so I assume you're fine with it, brother. So Music writes, hey, bro, I really like the way you talk, really captivating. Why would a girl act submissive around you, give you signs of interest, but still won't go out with you? The simple answer to that is women are attention animals. They love attention. But here's the trick. Men love attention too. We all love attention. But women are even more so sustained by attention because their self-esteem is variable. And the things that manipulate their self-esteem are externalities, meaning your attention makes her self-esteem rise. Your attention makes her feel better about herself. You and other men in the society are the reason they wear makeup, even though they would lie and say, oh, I just wear this for myself. You dumb bitch. That's why you don't wear makeup when you're sitting at home, because you're lying. You wear makeup to go outside and impress men in the society because you need their validation. So why would she do that? Because she's not serious. There are a great many women who are not serious and they just want attention. I kid you not. There's one psychopath I went to middle school with. White girl. Went to middle school with her. She's like one of 3 white girls at my middle school. When my book came out, she DM'd me and said, hey, I got your book. I was like, hey, great. That's fantastic. So then she keeps on DMing me and I tell her, hey, Nicole, sorry, but I don't have a fucking ton of time to be DMing your dumb ass. I don't know you like that. Get the fuck out my inbox unless you ain't here for a reason. So then she says, fuck you, Marquette, and your book sucks anyways. I was like, all right, bitch, go ahead with your bad self. So then she says she's going to block me, right? I kid you not. The bitch blocks me, then unblocks me, then follows me again and looks at all my stories. Why? Because these hoes are bored. These hoes want attention. These hoes don't have any value. And when I say these hoes, I'm just speaking of the average woman. The average woman out there on the street who's taking booty pics in the gym. That bitch right there. I'm not speaking of a lady. I'm not speaking of a great woman. I'm speaking of the average female, which in this society is a very low person. Got it. Okay, so hope that answers your question, Music. When a woman is serious about you, she will definitely want to show up and meet up with you in person. And I can tell you this, if you engage with a female, you should try not to be the first person to invite her out. You should try to get her to invite you out. That's always your goal, is to make her make the first move. Thank you for that question. I'm going to go back through these super chats. Darnell Carter, how are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good, man. I'm pretty good. Good night. And man, I'm kind of nervous right now. You caught me on the spot. But
yeah, it's all good, brother. Talk to me.
Yes, sir. First of all, I just want to say, everybody read. Make sure y'all get his book. This is an amazing read. It's an easy read. After each chapter, he breaks it down to you, and you're able to learn a lot about this gentleman right here. So I encourage you all to get the book. Number one.
Thank you. I truly appreciate that.
And number two, as far as the dating scene for me, I'm having issues as far as talking to women online. So number one, they got on a bunch of makeup.
Yes.
Number two, it's at angles. So I gotta look out for that. Number three, there's filters on top of that.
Right. It's crazy.
When I go see him in person, even though I try to check all the boxes,
yes,
I'm still getting had. I don't know, and then I feel like it's a waste of time and it's frustrating because I don't want to be wasting my time. So I don't know, how do you deal with that, or do you just not deal with online?
Generally speaking, I don't deal with online. So if you looked at it as a portfolio, right? 90% of your portfolio should be in person. Everywhere you go, you got to be exuding that confidence. I kid you not. Right now, I'm in Florida. I got a boxing match tomorrow. I had to go to the doctor to get a physical last minute. So I was just at the doctor's office a little while ago, right? So I'm in there talking my talk, and the woman who was checking my height, I'm just flirting with her a little bit, just enjoying myself, enjoying my day. And then when I go to pay, she walks up to the front. She was like, "Oh, hey, Mr. Burton, I just it occurred to me that I'm connected to this nonprofit, and some of the boys in the nonprofit are really interested in boxing. Do you mind if I get your contact information? I'd love to connect you. I know you don't live here, but I just think it could be meaningful for the boys." AKA, nigga, give me your number. I don't want to just ask for your number out right in front of my colleagues, but shoot me that number. So I gave her my business card, right? I say that to say the in-person game is always going to be there. Everywhere you're out in the society, you have opportunities to convert something. You feel me? So that's number one. And it's a lot easier because you get to see what they look like right then and there. Now let's talk this online dating. So I recently had a situation similar to what you described. And I tell you, it's shocking how much these females can transform themselves. I know women that I met in person, and when I look at them on Instagram, I'm like, who's this bitch? Right? It's wild. So recently, I took one of the Saints out to dinner recently in Las Vegas. And after that, I had a little female that wanted to pull up on me, a little thing that I caught online. And so I was like, all right, cool, come through. Her photos looked A1. A1. When she showed up, she was F2, right? So I was just like, how in the hell? But here's the thing. With the theme of this talk being don't overinvest emotionally, financially, and time-wise, she didn't even meet up with me till 12:30 to 1 a.m. So that's one. There's very little time I could spend with her because she ain't even showing up to the middle of the night. Number two, I didn't buy her a thing. I had her drive to meet me where I was. I didn't buy her anything whatsoever. And I only spent 2 hours with her and then told her to kick rocks. And that's the key. This is the law of large numbers. You're going to have to deal with a lot of filth to get to the value if you're online dating.
Okay. May I ask one more question? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm in North Carolina. That's where I'm at. I'm in a rural area. And, as far as females, I don't really have a problem talking to females. I don't get intimidated or scared. But it's a scarcity of the type of females that I like. I want like them 9s and them 10s. That's what I want. That's what I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to find them. I might go a whole week and only see one female I would want to talk to. And because of that, I don't want to just talk to 6 or 7. That's just me. I like 5. Right. So I own my own place. I own my own home. So do I have to move to a bigger city where it's more populated? Is that the only way I'm gonna be able to find a female that I want? Because in this area right here, it's.
Hey, let's be real. Let's be real. You and Kakalaki. Let's be real here. There's some lovely women in terms of personality and values down there. But what we know for a fact is that you pull up in Manhattan, you pull up in Beverly Hills and Hollywood, whoo! You pull up in Las Vegas, whoo! They're concentrations of bad bitches. And we know that. So, hey, you ain't got to live there. Just pull up. Just pull up. That's all you got to do is drop through, talk to a little something, build a relationship. You can come through every now and then. She could come through every now and then. The nice thing about major cities is that it's low cost to fly in. But realistically, you already set the answer. When you live out in a place that's suburban or rural, you're not going to have the concentration of attractive women, because where do women attract? Money, where there are concentrations of wealth. And that's why all the cities I named, when you go to the wealthiest parts of those cities, the women are there in a plethora.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to take up your whole call. I promise you. Last one more. I promise you.
Go ahead.
I'm going.
Talk to me. Frank.
Appreciate it. White girls. Now, do you approach, a white girl just the same as you approach any girl? Because sometimes I admit I see some and I would approach them, but there's more of a gut feel. I'm more nervous when I talk to someone outside my race. I want like an Amber. I want a Sam. I want one that was raised properly and not one that just date black guys.
I should do a whole live on that. I might need to even write that down. A live session called "Why I Don't Like White Girls Who Only Date Black Guys." Those are usually the trashy ones. Let's be real here, right?
Right.
So you're a white woman and you're looking at the most reviled person in the society and saying, that's what I want. The black man is the most reviled, the most disrespected, the most downtrodden person in American society. And you're a white woman, theoretically at the top of the society, and you say, that's what I want. Some fucked up in your head that you're going to say, I don't want the white guy who theoretically is my natural mate. Right. I want the thug ass, 2 Chainz, 21 Savage, Lil Yachty, rapper looking black guy. No, those white girls are trash, man.
Right.
I wouldn't even let them drive me around in my Rolls Royce and call me master. I wouldn't even give them the privilege, man. So should you approach black women and white women differently? I'll tell you this, and you, if you study all my videos, I've never really spoken about black women in general, because I think that there's just so much to say, and I want to be respectful and I want to build them up.
Okay.
But if we're talking facts, I approach far more black women than any other race, and they rarely convert. The attitudes are just so bad. Right. Now that might be the black women on the coast, New York, Los Angeles, Miami. That might just be them. I don't know. But my observation has been that their attitudes are generally bad. So there's going to be more of a, shall we say, a guard up when you approach a black woman. Conversely, when you approach a white woman, there's far less of an initial guard up, which is why you should be a lot less nervous to approach a white woman, because they're civil when you approach them. I'm not saying there's a significant difference between black and white women. I actually don't think there is. I think it's a minor difference on how they deal with things. A black woman is aggressive up front. A black woman is unpleasant up front. A white woman is aggressive after she builds a little bit of rapport, and then she's manipulative, right? So she's passive aggressive. So it's just the nature of how they get their way that is different. But at the end of the day, they're both females, and females are not that different. Unfortunately, they all got them dumbass long eyelashes. They all wearing fake blonde hair, whether they're bleach blonding or they're adding a hairpiece. So most of these females in the society today are mostly the same. But I can tell you, Darnell, that you have no problem getting you a white girl. That's some of the easiest work out there. Me personally, I avoid them. I don't even like going after them. They just be falling in my lap.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Nice. Well, I appreciate the time. I appreciate what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. It's a pleasure to talk to you. And again, everybody, the Black Book. I'm telling you, because this is the truth. I'm not. He doesn't know anything of me doing this. I'm telling you because I want to, and this is the truth. So make sure y'all get this book. I'm telling you. All right,
I truly appreciate it, and we're gonna do a live session on that too, because I do want to hear what folks thought and which stories touched them. And also for the folks who have purchased the book through Amazon like you did, if you can write a review, please do, so we can spread the word. Saint, appreciate you tuning in, Darnell, and chopping it up with me.
I appreciate you too. And when you took that test when you was younger and the teacher thought you cheated, that was some messed up stuff, man.
Right? Man. And there's so many of us going through it, ain't it? In various ways, there's so many people doubting us. And so I hope people understand that the key is don't ever doubt yourself. People are going to doubt you, but don't doubt yourself.
All right, man. Thank you. All right,
absolutely. Bro. Okay, let me get to some of these super chats. So Only One Carter writes, your book is amazing. Read and your content is priceless. Cheat code to life. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. I always love when folks are actually taking out their time to read the book because I wrote it for you. T so cozy. Appreciate the super chat. Writes, as I always say, let's get comfortable being uncomfortable. Truth. Young men need to tune in. I'm 17 and always ready to learn. Grinding, big homie. I'm proud of you. All my young saints out here, I'm very proud of you, because by the time you get my age, you gonna be the guy, man. So keep me posted on your progress. Keep working hard. Let me see, make sure I didn't miss any other super chats for the folks who have shown support. Looks like we have 511 people on the call. If you have not already liked the video, that is the least you can do for the big homie. Salute, what's the best way to build mental strength? King Terry, this is a very meaningful question. Mental strength is something you will need to thrive in life. The best way, what depends on what you're building mental strength for. I don't want to act like it's all the same because it's not. What I can tell you for me, when you put yourself through challenge, just like the 17-year-old Saint said just a little while ago, he said, get comfortable being uncomfortable. For example, I'm about to go into a boxing match tomorrow. Everyone I know says, Marquette, what are you doing boxing? Your money is good. You do not need to box. You went to 2 top 20 universities that are globally ranked. You are an educated man. Protect that brain of yours. Protect the pretty face. Nah, I want to put myself in the fire because I truly believe a man is meant to be hard. And that's not only hard body, that's also hard mentally. And so you have to choose a fire to walk through. That's how you stay mentally strong. Carrying on. The Euros donated, truly appreciated. Your 4 Horsemen vid was fire. I know female nature very well. However, I've learned from you how to extract value from a female. Thanks for your work. I truly appreciate that because a good woman is of so much value. For example, gentlemen, let me tell you what kind of value has been added to my life in the last week from a good woman. As you may know, I have a boxing match, so I've been cutting weight. I had to lose 12 pounds in a week. You're not going to think very well when you're starving yourself the whole day and you're drinking 1 bottle of water per day. Your mind is not going to be very sharp. So I had to leave Las Vegas and I went to Texas to look at a car. And then from Texas, I had to go to Florida for a boxing match. And then Bridget says, hey, Marquette, do you have your paperwork, your boxing license, and so on and so forth? And I was like, nope, I forgot my boxing license. So she said, okay, scheduled herself a flight, flew to Las Vegas, went in the apartment, found my boxing license, and is flying back the same day to allow me to pursue my dreams. You see what I'm saying? So that's how a woman will lay everything she has at your feet when she has been guided in the right direction. There's so much value you can bring out of a good woman. And when you are behaving as a strong man, as a leader, they will offer the value to you. They will pour the water on you. And I was so thankful because some women would say, oh, you forgot this, or they would blow up or get an attitude. She didn't waste time with that. She said, let me schedule a flight right now. I'm about to leave in the next hour, go all the way to the West Coast, get this one little thing, and then fly all the way to the East Coast. And she asked me if I had my up-to-date physical, and I didn't. And then she scheduled me an appointment to get to a doctor, and she did that within 3 hours. That's value. I couldn't have done any of those things myself. So I'm glad you've been studying the lessons that are exclusive on www.patreon.com/thesaintinthe center, where I literally show you text conversations. I let you hear audio conversations of me talking to real women where I'm building up rapport and digging deep into them, doctor filling them, so that we have that level of connection to where they understand who I am. They feel value that I bring to them, and they want to reciprocate that value. Remember, you don't get something for nothing on the planet Earth. Everything you get, you have to pay for. Thank you for that question. La Reina Flores writes, appreciate your knowledge. Thank you. I appreciate you. Love when the female saints pull up on me. And we have an increasing number of female saints. I do want to do more content for the ladies at some point soon, because the Sassin is not only for men, it's also for women, because when you can bring people into the Sassin, you know they have good values. And I love matching up men of good values with women of good values, because sometimes I'm talking about a bitch, but I love when I'm talking about a lady, like when I'm talking about the saints, the female saints. So those are wonderful women for you guys to meet. I highly encourage it. Isabella Alves writes, how are you? Nice meeting you. Okay, so we see the saints are greeting each other, which is one thing I compel all of you to do. Music writes, how can I get in touch with you? you can schedule a consultation. That is the very best way to get my attention. That is focused. The truth is my schedule is unbelievable. I'm in different cities, states, different countries on a weekly basis. I'm running a lot of businesses. If you want my focus time, my recommendation is that you book a consultation. I'll put the URL in the chat right now where you can go to book a consultation and get my focus time. Done my best to make them affordable so that people who really want help with something personally, something relationship-wise, something self-development-wise, business, entrepreneurship, whatever the case is, it's accessible to you. So I just went ahead and posted that URL there. Oh, yeah, I got your Kindle book. Truly appreciate that, Saint. Let me know what you think. We're definitely going to have that live stream where we can catch up about all that. Very interested to hear. Look like a straight Cali nigga. Well, I am from the soil, you dig? I'm damn near the governor. Been from the top to the bottom. I think we read that one. Mr. Highway writes, I enjoy female companionship, but I have a low sex drive. Can I maintain relationships in this state, or should I focus on more saintly things? Well, Mr. Highway, whether you have a low sex drive or not, when you find a woman who's really bought into you, she will be a follower. So she will follow your lead. Let me give you a little bit of advice. If you have a low sex drive, you don't want to find a chick with a high sex drive because you'll be misaligned. That will cause strife in your household. So there are a great many women who are not super into sex. When you find women who have religious repression, meaning they've been taught to repress their drives, their libido over a lifetime, that might be a good candidate. Other women just naturally have a lower sex drive. And then there's a third category of women who might have a high sex drive, but they're in love with you. They're obedient and faithful women, and they will get down with what you want. I know I've had women like that who follow what I want, because although I do have a healthy sex drive, I limit my sex because I need my energy for greater things. And they're fine with that. Now, I ain't gonna say I ain't had no freaks try to turn me into a sex machine. I ain't gonna say I ain't had that. Lord knows I have. Some of them are irresistible. If you have super chatted and somehow I missed your super chat, please just type in all caps super chat and then retype the question. If you saw someone super chat that I missed, type in super chat in all caps and retype the question. I really want to honor it. And truth be told, YouTube does not populate all of the super chats. Abdurrahman writes, I want my book same day shipping, just purchased on Amazon. Truly appreciate that, Saint. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I don't know why Amazon's slacking on the delivery. Even USPS has been slacking on the delivery. But we're getting this word out to everyone, and it seems as though people are really being impacted. And for that, I'm truly humbled. Marquette, how could I be a better conversationalist with anyone, and especially with women I'm attracted to? Rolando, I don't know if you follow on patreon.com, but on patreon.com, there is a list of conversation questions for females. I highly recommend that you use that list. Let me give you one major trick that I use in my conversations with everyone. To be a great conversationalist is primarily to be a great listener. So here are 2 tips for you. Number 1, don't cut people off. When they start talking, you don't ever want to talk over them. That causes them to shut down or to stop talking or to not feel heard. So what I actually do is I tap my foot 5 times. So someone starts talking. When I think they're finished talking, I'll tap my foot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you know what happens most of the time? They just pause to think, or they pause to take a breath, and then they keep talking. So you're probably missing a lot of opportunities to actually listen because you start talking when they were only pausing or they were considering a thought. And so what I often find is that will really keep them going. Here's the second trick. When women are talking, you can often take the last sentence that they said or anything interesting and then just put a question mark at the end using the exact words that they use. For example, I was talking to one young lady, a religious young lady, and I asked her what kind of men she liked. And she says, I like this kind of guy, this kind of guy, this kind of guy, this kind of guy, but I don't like this kind of guy. So the guy that she said she didn't like, she's like, no, I don't like Denzel Washington. I was like, you don't like Denzel Washington? All I did is I took her exact words, put a question mark at the end. So she said, I like Chadwick Boseman. I like this. I like that. I don't like Denzel. I said, you don't like Denzel Washington? And then she started to elaborate. So as a good conversationalist, your key is to be a great listener. Your key is to take what they said in their language, put a question mark at the end. And then thirdly, always say a little bit, not too much about yourself, and then ask them a question. That is the best way to go about it. Marquette, do you speak Portuguese? No, I do not. But hey, if I pull up in Brazil, I might need to learn. Let me know if you're teaching. So let me see if I've any super chats that I missed. I think I may be caught up on super chats. You look like Pink Panther. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so let me see if I missed any super chats. If I didn't, I'm going to start winding down. If you have any major questions and you're part of the SAS, I mean, you subscribe at www.patreon.com/thesaintandthesinner. Feel free to join on screen or post your questions. I'm going to do one last look through on the questions. So if you are part of the Assassin, you subscribe at patreon.com/thesaintandthesinner. Just write that and then write your question. I'll go ahead and answer it. Or if you super chat your question, I'll go ahead and answer it right now. And Mr. Man in Action, appreciate you pulling up. Love to see the Saints in the building. You dig? What I'm getting from this is that some guys are just dating for instant gratification. Thank you for your response in advance. I'm unable to scroll back up to see what you said before, but yeah. A lot of men are dating for instant gratification. What I really promote is retention. Always invest your time in high quality pursuits, right? High quality women, high quality job opportunities, things that are going to bring you long-term value. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with getting instant gratification, but you should really pursue the women that can give you long-term gratification. Even the saint has issues when approaching black women. Yeah, this is factual. Now, where I grew up in my hood, the black women that I grew up around, no problem, because they evolved around me. So we have great rapport and relationship. And that's when I was getting the most, that's when I was getting the most black women. But as an adult, now that I've gone beyond the land that I grew up in, yeah, it's very difficult because they have a very icy veneer. And that's not to put black women down. That's just to speak of the facts. Black women are lovely women once you get through the bullshit. 500 Saints, get the likes up. True story. Tevin writes, black women genetically have been made to give the black man tough love because of slavery. It was instrumental in slavery. Note how the same black women act very, very feminine with white men. I'm not going to say that I agree with this statement. I think it's worth considering. I rarely like to take things as far back as slavery. That's pretty far back, fam. The genetics of black women have not been altered to where they specifically treat the black man poorly. That is not genetics. That is culture. They have been in a culture where black men have not inhabited a position of power, and accordingly, they have not been respected as a powerful being within the relationship or family dynamic. So when they encounter a man like me who actually is powerful, well, they don't know what to do. Get motherfucking discombobulated. Not all black hoes is like that. This is true. Not all of anyone is like anything, right? Human beings are unique. We mostly are speaking to what is common. I just bought mine last night. Can't wait till it comes in. Truly appreciate that. Thank you, Saint. Why do black women think it's okay to come off aggressive and difficult to deal with? Woo! We are going to answer that. And in fact, I'm going to merge in Mr. Man in Action, and we're going to talk about it.
Let's get it. What's good, man?
How do you feel, Saint?
Oh, gee, bro. Good luck on that competition tomorrow, too, man.
I appreciate it, man. Hopefully the ambulance doesn't have any traffic when they're on their way to go get this boy off the ground.
For sure, for sure.
So the Viewers Network has a question. He writes, why do black women think it's okay to come off aggressive and difficult to deal with?
Man, the main reason I would say is because you guys truly believe that. They do have their reasons. You know, they do have their stereotypical what people say. And yeah, they may come off that way, but anytime, just like if you're around an animal, if you're around a dog and you just swear that dog's going to bite you, that motherfucker might bite your bitch ass on some real shit. Because you acting like a bitch, honestly.
Talk to him.
But you know, if you like, okay, it's a dog, it's potential it could bite me. But I tell you one thing, this dog ain't finna bite me. It's a different level. So that's what I got on it.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So I think that's a very meaningful point. Anytime you are harboring a certain thought in your mind, you're going to attract that likelihood and you're going to be looking for that to happen. So I agree with you there. Carrying on, I will say that if you look at the African American in terms of income, African Americans are some of the lowest income folks in the United States on average, not all, just on average, which means that when you come from poverty, you're in a situation that's likely to be more dangerous. If you're an African American woman, you're likely to grow up in a broken family, i.e., a family without a father, which means you did not have a natural protector, which inclines you to be a little more rough around the edges because you had to protect yourself as a female, which would in turn make them more aggressive. So without going way back to slavery, that's a very clear reason of why you might see a black woman be a touch more aggressive than a white woman who's on average middle class, and a black woman's economically lower class, grew up without a father and grew up in poverty around wild-ass hood niggas. So that makes a little bit of sense why they got to have the guard up. I do think there are also historical reasons. The truth is, at the end of the day, every female is a female, and they're testing you. And if you stand strong on all 10 toes, that fake front that they're putting forward, it'll fall away because there's nothing behind it. When a female gets an attitude with you, what's she going to do? Sock you out? No, she's not going to do anything. Realistically, you could choke her out with one hand and rape her and then kill her, and she couldn't do anything about it, right? Like, she's physically inferior. So this is the veneer of strength. This attitude that they're putting forward, it's like a chihuahua barking to intimidate you, hoping that the chihuahua doesn't actually have to bite you because they know that their bite is not as big as their bark. You hear me? So that's what I would say with all women is the bark is big, the bite is small. You should be able to deal with the bark. Me personally, I love sisters. So to this day, as I said, I approach more of them than anyone, but definitely I do sense a level of self-sabotage within the African American within all the black women in the motherfucking country. There's a level of self-sabotage. They get what they call a good black man, which is supposedly what they're looking for, but when they get it in their lap, they don't know what to do with it. They fumble the rock. They fuck it up and self-sabotage because they're not used to it, and in many cases, they don't think they're worthy, so they fuck it up. But that's not only them. Some of you men out there are fucking up the bag, thinking you're not worthy of having great things, thinking you're not worthy of succeeding. It's something all of us human beings have to deal with. My man says he's waiting for the audiobook. Shit, I'm waiting too, man. I need some time to go ahead and record it. But when it get recorded, it's going to be lit. Let's see if we can get my man, Mr. Man, in action on some more questions because he got a lot of game. Check out his channel if you haven't already. What's your advice on getting Asian women as a late 20s black man? They seem to only like white guys. Yes, I have a preference to them. You got any game for them?
Man, check this out. I interviewed the OG legend Rosebud today. Okay. And he said something so important to me. This is on my channel. He said, there is no such thing as a 10 pussy. Remember that. So when it comes to, okay, it says an Asian woman getting, okay, I thought that said an Asian, you know what I mean? It's a black man trying to get an Asian woman, right?
Right.
Exactly. So regardless of her race, she is still a woman and she still expects you to come off as a man. You can't live your life by these stereotypical rules because that's going to keep you stuck. And literally it starts with the mindset. So I'm telling you guys, anything that you believe, like if you truly want an Asian chick, you're going to do what it takes to get an Asian chick.
Look, bruh, Tarleton, let me tell you this. My best homie, cat I went to college with, He's a doctor of psychology right now. Black dude, grew up in San Francisco. He only does Asians. In
That's
fact,
what I'm saying.
he only does what he calls the E's, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese. You heard me? He don't even mess with some of them in Southeast Asia. He don't even mess with the Filipinos. You heard me? So I say that to say it's more than possible. And if you want to look geographically, I will tell you, go to Hayward. It's a lot of Asians in Hayward, which is in the San Francisco Bay Area, and they fuck with black dudes like it's nobody's business, right? So that's the epicenter if you really want one that's with the shit already. Can you convert one? Definitely. But I'm going to keep it real with you. There's no doubt about it. Every Chinese girl has a book that her parents give her. And when she opens it up on page 4, it says, do not date black guys. I ain't going to bullshit you. Asian women dating black guys, if they're not Americanized Asian, it's very much so not promoted. You're right. They do love white guys. To an Asian woman, on average, and I say this having lived in Korea, having traveled extensively in China, to them, getting another Asian guy is like staying on their level. Getting a white guy is like a step up. Getting a black guy is generally viewed as a step down in their culture. And it's not necessarily due to racism. It's due to perceived economic power. Because Asians are very much so oriented on status and power, which is fair enough, right? We can't hate anybody for trying to go for the best. But I can guarantee you, if you was a balling ass nigga, they'd fuck with you now, wouldn't they? And also, if you got tremendous game, they gonna fuck with you because you gonna fuck with them, right? You gonna drop the appropriate game in their ear. So you have to walk into the situation not feeling disadvantaged, but saying, hey, you ain't gotta date black men. You just got to date Marquette Devon Burton, bitch. You heard me? So that's what you need to do, bruh. Appreciate the question. We're going to carry on, try to get all these super chats in before we hop off. M. Garvey writes, much love, Quet. Appreciate it, Saint. He's been a part of the SAS and supported for a long time. Hopefully we'll see you in Las Vegas and Hotopia. And to the gentleman who was on earlier said ain't no hoes in the land where he stands. Oh, my man. Come over to Hotopia, Las Vegas, you dig.
Ooh, LV, that's the spot.
Ain't it?
Anytime and every time.
Every time, man. You can find something at any hour. Carrying on. I appreciate the content. I wanted your opinion. How do you feel about being a Mason? Why do people say they are evil? I'm not very familiar with the Masons, the Freemasons, or any of these secret societies. And being that they're secret societies, I don't think the general public is familiar either. Why do people say they're evil? Well, the average person is not a smart person. So I would never take common or popular opinion to mean anything. Generally speaking, when people don't understand something, they accuse it of being wicked. When rock and roll music first came out, it was actually played primarily by black people. It was said to be devil's music. When jazz music first came out, it was misunderstood. It was not accepted in the mainstream. So when people misunderstand things, when they don't comprehend, they try to look down on it. So when you're not a part of a group and you can't join the group, you try to say the group ain't shit, right? So I'm not going to say that the Masons are good or bad. I'm going to say the truth, which is I don't know. But what I can tell you is that I was looking at a Rolls Royce in Texas yesterday, and there was a symbol on one of the Rolls Royce that I looked at. The guy was a Mason. So seems like they doing all right, if that's any indication to you. Appreciate the question. Did you have anything you want to hop in on with, Mr. Man in Action?
That's a fact, man. I mean, I feel like anything in general, if you don't understand it and you only focus on the negatives, that's what you're going to get out of it. So from what people stereotype, like anything that people would consider bad, you have to be the judgment of your own life with anything. Like I understand the reputation and stuff like that, but that's just like in high school when someone would spread a rumor. Yeah. So don't pay attention to nothing. Don't really make anything else your reality, whether it's real or not. If you're not about to get in it, and no offense, with all due respect, you shouldn't even be worried about it. But you know, that is a good question, though, bro. So shout out to you.
Drop a bomb for MIA, Man in Action. Because look, one of the major tenets of Marquettism is if it doesn't have anything to do with you, why you
don't give a fuck? Yeah.
You know, man? And I want to say maybe it was Seneca. It was either Seneca or one of the Stoic philosophers. He says, you should be indifferent to that which doesn't make a difference. Indifference means you don't care. You should be indifferent, meaning not care about that which doesn't make a difference. So if you're not about to become a Mason, who cares? If you're about to become a person, you're asking a wise question and you're doing your due diligence, and I commend you, because a man should always be knowledgeable in all things that he pursues. So I want you guys all to really listen to MIA when he told your ass, if it has nothing to do with you or your goals, leave it alone. I kid you not, on my last live session, people were like, ooh, Bridget's voice sounds sexy. What she look like? Let's be real. Are you going to fuck one of my bitches? Probably not. So why even waste your time wondering what she looks like? You're unfocused, right? Now, like, it's all these women in the world. Why would you focus on the one you know you can't get? You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. Like, use your energy and attention on wise pursuits. That's what mature men do. So I highly appreciate that game. I'm telling you this to keep you focused so you can achieve. That's what I want you guys to do. Now, if you had a super chat, we missed it, type that join in again, because we got to honor those who show love to us. I know you have a video about older women, but can you go more in depth in how to deal with old bitches, especially divorcees? MIA. I know you're a young man, but you have that old cat.
Nah, yes, sirski. I had me an old thing pull up the other day. Came in the kitchen. That was the first place she had to be at. That's on some other shit though. But she had to cook as soon as she pulled up. Shit was cool. I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. If you asking that, I'm assuming you're a younger cat. And me, I'm in my 20s as well. I will tell you, old women can help your game in a sense, because they'll show you some tricks that a young bitch ain't never heard of. They'll put you on some shit. So if you end up smashing other chicks or dealing with other chicks that's around your age, whatever tricks that older chick showed you, you're gonna have them young ones going crazy. And 40 plus, you know, they gonna bear with you, bro. They know you a young dude. Like, they gonna, of course you gotta have your shit tight, but they are going to show you a little bit of game here and there for you to carry on with life, because they've been through a lot of shit. And they gonna talk that shit. So if you end up clapping their cheeks, they gonna be talking that shit. I'm telling you.
Factual. And you know what? I want to caution you, because when you're dealing with someone who's older than you, they tend to want to take the leadership role. And if she's older and single, then you got to know that there's something wrong with her off the rip. Not in every, just in 99.9% of the cases, right? So there's something funny with her. There's some that ain't quite right, which is why no one else married her, no one else locked her down. So be cautious of that when you go in, knowing that there's some baggage or there's a booby trap or a booty trap waiting for your ass. So be careful. But also know that older women always have a greater value that they can provide to you, whether it's home cooked meals, whether they can give you an introduction to an employer because they're old enough to know people who run companies. So there's so many different kinds of values you can expect from an older woman that you can't get from a young woman. An older woman, she might be giving you the pussy and give you a job recommendation. You can list her as a referral on your job application. You see what I'm saying? So if you must jump in the old cat, make sure you milking it for everything that it's worth. But you know me, I always recommend the fresh water. Carrying on. I see St. Gaius is in the building. We're going to go ahead and merge him into the Strizine. Gaius, how are you, Saint?
Chilling. I want to.
What's good?
Hey, what's up, champ? I want to hop in real quick. You had a question about Asian chicks. I don't know if you just like completely skipped past that, but you know how I do.
You gotta talk that talk. Go ahead.
You got an expert right here in the Asian market. Go ahead.
My man, I would just say 2 rules, bro. I think Mr. Man in Action like covered it pretty well. Like, obviously, like how you feel about yourself is what you're projecting. But like, dude, don't ever tell people you have Asian fetish, man. That'll fuck your whole shit up. Excuse my language, Marquette. I don't know if it's gonna mess up your YouTube thing, but that'll mess your whole thing up. And the second thing is just treat her like a regular human being. Don't bring her race up ever. I've noticed Asian women have been like super insecure about the fact that they're Asian, or they're constantly trying to prove that they're not whatever stereotype they think. I'm sure like this is most people, but yeah, if you just treat her like just a regular girl, you never bring up that she's Asian. If she asks you if you have an Asian like yellow fever, just say no. Don't explain yourself. None of that. Just say no, because you will fuck yourself out of the pussy, man. Yeah, that's really. I can't even really talk right now, but I just wanted to hop in real quick. I'm listening to you while I'm on the go, and just give a little nugget.
that was actually some really meaningful insights, and we can tell that you're in the game, you're in that market. I haven't been in Asian for quite some time, so that was good advice. And I think if the Saint is still listening, I think he's going to profit by that. I appreciate you.
So. No, I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Are you staying on? You just okay? You out?
Yeah, I'm a peace out. I just want to hop in real quick. I'm listening though. I'm in the chat.
Absolutely. Peace. Saint.
All right, Saints. Peace.
All right, bro.
Swiffer Wetjet. Appreciate the super chat. Writes, love your content. I'm new to your channel. Already got a lot of game you spit from other men, but you did help refine my theories. Now, there's never too much knowledge. True. Appreciate the support. I'm going to answer a few more of these super chats. First, let me go ahead and merge in Joshua, one of the Saints. Joshua, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm doing good.
Good. All right, let me see. Can we help you with anything? Or are you coming on here to kick some game?
I would like to add on to what Saint Gaius said. Like, I would like to say that race doesn't really matter. Like, it's about authenticity, I would say.
Mm.
Just be yourself. It's about mindset also.
And I'm noticing that's the theme, because from what MIA said was hey man, like, you got to be a man about what you're doing. What you said is it's about authenticity. Be yourself. What Gaius said is like, hey man, don't come in here with some fetish shit. Just act like you're a normal person and she's a normal person. And I think that goes back to everything that we promote in this movement, which is be who you truly are. And on the other side of that is love and accept people for who they truly are. And there ain't nothing simpler than that, right? There's no physics to that. It's just let's be real here. So I appreciate that. Joshua, did you have anything else you wanted to add on?
I'm trying to think. What is that?
Think about it. I'm going to read off some of these comments. I got the black box, Saints Bible. James, appreciate you picking that up. It does have endless wisdom in there. Yes, the GOAT, right. How do you get a sugar mama? I got vision, I got swag, and I'm handsome. How would you go about this? Well, he been giving himself a damn lot of credit, would you say, Joshua? He says he has vision, he has swag, and he's handsome. MIA, I know you done had you a little thing that put a little bit of sugar on you. You heard me?
I mean, if you think that you're really that good, I mean, why don't you just get it? You know.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
Just show it. Show them you're the big homie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Big homie, you gotta play like the big homie, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna run this answer real quick, and then I'm gonna slide up out of here.
All right.
I just had to slide through, but how you get you a sugar mama, man? You gotta have that type of demeanor about you that would want her to break you off some bread, because that's basically, in my opinion, that's what a sugar mama is. Mm-hmm. So you have to have that aura, that vibe, that energy, whatever you want to call it, about you, that I'm the type of dude that gets sugar mamas, and I want you to be one of them, even if you're not that much older. So that's the thing. You got vision, you got swag, and you're handsome. Okay. Well, how you go about this is you go and you do it. There's not necessarily going to be anything you can hear from anybody that's going to motivate you to do it or make you do it. You got to go out and do it, because it's highly possible. And a lot of motherfuckers is getting rich off this shit. So try it out, bro.
That's real. And what I want to add to that one is this. If you have the tools, you have a great advantage over most men. You say you're handsome, you got swag, you got all these things. You got the basics to get it done. So if it's not getting done, that's all on you. Because there's cats out there who are fat, ugly, and don't have swag who still get women to peel them a few greenbacks off. The biggest piece of advice I can give you is this. Number one, if you want something from a woman or from anyone, you have to let them know that's what you require and you won't accept anything less. That's number one. It's a standard. Number two, a woman has to hold you in high regard, which is to say that women who deal with me, They know what kind of man I am. This shirt right here, this is a custom shirt made to my body specifications. If I took this shirt off and gave it to somebody else, it wouldn't fit because it was made to fit me like a glove, handmade. So women know how I live, and they know that I want the finest, and they want to help me achieve that. They want to be a part of giving me that. So when you live in a player way, when you are constantly staying within your identity of this is what I demand for myself, if it ever comes to a point where I couldn't afford to get the shirt for me, oh, my women are going to say, Marquette, we can't have you in Macy's. No, that don't look good on you. You only look good in custom. You are accustomed to custom. So we're going to make sure that you can maintain the lifestyle you're accustomed to. You understand what I'm saying? You have to condition those around you to serve you and do your bidding. And another thing I really want you to understand is that what you say you are means nothing. Everybody else got to say it. I could say I'm the champ, but if I don't go and knock niggas out, then I'm not the champ. I could say I'm handsome and got swag, but I ain't got the bitches to show it, then I ain't got it. You got to deliver the goods. So all the handsome, the swag, all this shit, none of that shit matter till you get a bitch to break you off some guap. If she ain't speaking Guapanese to you, then hey, something ain't right. You need to figure out that part. You heard me? Because all this being cute and all that stuff, being handsome, that's for women. All that externality, that's for women. Men live in here. It's the mental. I want to hear how good your game look. I want your game to look good. Looking good on the outside don't mean shit because it's a lot of cats who have pretty faces and they're suckers. You heard me? But I'm glad you're on here getting this game. You keep listening to me, you're going to mess around and break you a couple bitches. You heard me? You're going to have a whole army of sugar mamas, man.
And that's so true.
Talk to him, Joshua.
I mean, it's all about how you conduct yourself. It's about actions. It's more meaningful than speaking, right? And then before how about I would like to say to all saints, just be yourself. And I always recite the Creed of Assassins. It really helps. And just go out there, speed the games, watch Marquette, and you'll be fine. Right, man.
Appreciate it. Peace, Saint. He's speaking factually, which is always remember who you are. The hardest thing to do on a regular basis is to be who you are. Hardest thing to do on a regular basis is to be honest, which is not to compromise with who you are and what you want. You can't pretend to be other people and go along with the flow. Fuck the flow. Fuck the grain. Go against the grain. Be who you are and go for what you want. If you want to be a motherfucking pimp, which I don't recommend, I do not recommend, but if that's what you want to be the best pimp there is. Don't let people discourage you from being who you want to be. And here's the thing. Don't discourage yourself. That's what most people are dealing with, is a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-faith. I tell you, there's nothing wrong with believing in your damn self. Hey, I say, pat yourself on the back. Say you are handsome. Say you do have swag. But not only do you say it, you also got to go and live like that. Nina writes, she had a super chat that was, thank you, Nina. There's a super chat from The Way to Blue. He writes, how to maximize verbal fluency. I admire and cover your ability to flow freely about a variety of topics. I struggle with speaking in common convo. Well, number one, anything that you do regularly, you're going to get better at. So the more you have conversations, the more you attempt to be fluent in speaking, the more you will improve at it. That's number one. Number two, when you write a lot, people often talk about reading, but I write a lot. When you write a lot, it will help you improve your ability to articulate, because what is writing? It's thoughtful articulation. It's more articulate than when you're speaking because you get to think about it. And the more you write, you will be calling upon your brain to select the proper word, which is called proper diction, and it will improve your way of speaking. Here's a third important point. If you want to speak fluently, speak well, be eloquent, you need to be around people who are eloquent. Have you ever noticed that you've hung around someone and after a while you start talking like them? You use their slang or you use their unique speaking tropes. You ever notice that you start to sound like your friends? Yes. So if you want to speak well, I encourage you to be around people who are articulate, who are intelligent. So Nina, thank you, love, for sharing that question. with your fine ass. I don't even know where you stay at. I don't even know. But you should tell me. You should pull up on your boy. You heard me. We're in the building. Leave the young brother alone. Fuck out of here with that weirdo shit. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm not sure what he's talking about. So I would have to scroll back through to see that. There was a super chat that I do want to acknowledge. Desmond writes, what do you think about Mormons? Well, if we're talking about Mormon women, I think Mormon women are generally very obedient, respectful, respectable women. I highly recommend them. If you're talking about Mormon doctrine, I think that it is very, very much so that something I would never hold in high regard, because if you look at the original doctrine, it actually used to say that black people are cursed. I can't say that I believe that. Further, their original doctrine said that they're entitled to multiple wives. Then the newer presidents of the church decided that polygyny would be outlawed in the Mormon church. But in truth, it was actually a reaction. It was a reaction to American society and American law. It was not the true will of Joseph Smith or any of the original prophets of Mormonism or any of the fundamental thinkers of Mormonism. It was a reaction to the law of the land, the American government. So I find Mormonism is very much so polluted. And even in its pure form, I don't find that it was a doctrine of love that brought harmony to mankind. Thank you for asking that question. If I did miss a super chat, please repost it. Smoothly writes, Marquette, appreciate you, G. I appreciate you, Saint. Thank you. Super chatted. We got that one. Looks like there's a super chat. Psalms writes, my brothers, listen to Marquette. He's real as it gets. And me being 40 years old, I wish I ran into this knowledge 15 to 20 years ago. I appreciate that. And that means a lot, because I'm hoping that I can save you guys time and pain and capital, and I can help you accelerate your life, accelerate your way to success financially, romantically, physically, mentally, all of these different types of wealth that you will really find are undiscovered until you get this knowledge. Because having true wealth is to have wealth in between your ears. When you have wealth of mind, you see things differently. You see money differently. Everything will be beautiful in your world when you look at the world in the right way. So I appreciate that. Super chat, respect. Marquette, I find humor is a quick way to build rapport, but it's cheap. How would you build rapport quickly but strongly, like Mr. Rogers from PBS? Number one, being a great listener always builds rapport. Number two, humor is a great way to build rapport. I wouldn't call humor cheap. I would call sarcasm cheap. Sarcasm is the lowest form of humor. It's also often quite negative. So anytime you can use humor, especially when it's positive, it's going to be very effective. So humor relaxes people and builds rapport. Also, finding commonality builds rapport, which is why often when I talk to people, I say, oh, where are you from? And if I can find a connection with someone somewhere that they're from or somewhere they've lived or we've traveled in a mutual place, then we'll talk about that commonality, because that makes people feel familiar so they can identify with you. So that's a great way to build rapport. Saints sharing the game with each other. Share this IG. Feel free to connect with Tomas. Also, we have the Creed of the Assassin in Spanish. I need to post that sometime soon. Super chat missed. Taking the bar exam on Monday and Tuesday. Any advice or last minute words of encouragement for a young black male turning 29 soon? Yes, I do have some words of encouragement. You have already come a long way. If you're taking the bar, you've already completed a bachelor's, you've completed law school. We know being an L1 is extremely rigorous, so you've already covered the hard part. The bar exam means that you've reached a milestone and you're now about to cross over into your real life as an attorney. I want to celebrate you for everything you've already done. I hope all of the saints show their congratulations to St. Louis, that's funny, right? St. Louis, the city. To Louis, who has basically created a foundation for himself financially. So I'm very proud of you. And you're going to do very well. Relax. Know that you're intelligent. You've already proved that you're intelligent. You've already delivered the goods. and go ahead and win. Go out there confidently, enjoy, have fun with it. And let me know when you're successful, because we love sharing news of our victories. So that's a beautiful thing to hear of. Turner writes, glad to have discovered you. This man is a plethora of knowledge. Please join the Patreon. Truly appreciate that, Turner. Thank you very much. And it means a lot for folks to support me, because, you know, we might have 500 folks on the call and only 10 or 11 may donate. And I don't care if you donate 8 cents or $800. It just shows me where your head's at and that you appreciate my work and you appreciate my time. And anytime you deal with anyone in this world, only deal with people who have a mutual respect. You appreciate them and they appreciate you. That's a good relationship because it has reciprocity. The worst relationship we can get into is when someone is a bloodsucker and they're not showing love to you, even though you're showing love to them. That's a bad friendship. That's a bad romantic relationship. That's a bad familial relationship. And I don't care who they say they are to you. Get the fuck out of there if they're not showing you the love that you show them. Okay. So just checking on these super chats. Super chat missed. How to get a threesome with your main girl. And by the way, I hope no one is saying that I missed their super chat when I really didn't. I hope that everyone is being honorable. I'm not accusing anyone of that. I'm just saying I hope that that's the case. I know if you're one of the saints, you were being honorable. I'm just saying please don't type super chat if it wasn't a super chat, because I do need to get some sleep at some point. Getting a threesome with your main girl, if you're in a monogamous relationship, will be one of the most difficult things you try to do. Best case scenario, if your main girl is promiscuous or bisexual, that's going to open a door. You're usually going to want to stir a little bit of alcohol into the mix, and you're not going to try to do it with one of her friends, because that's going to be a bad situation. She'll never do it with one of her friends. It has to be a random girl that comes into the environment. With one of her friends, she's always going to have that memory of her, you, and her friend fucking, and that's going to create a level of jealousy. So don't try to do it with one of her friends. You might want to lubricate the situation with some alcohol. And if she's monogamous with you and she's not bisexual, it's highly unlikely she's going to go for the threesome. Generally speaking, your best opportunity for a threesome is with two girls that you're not in a monogamous relationship with, who have some previous experience with one another, and neither of them are particularly interested in you emotionally. What would you consider a complete man? Well, that is a big question, but I would say the basics of a man. You could never call yourself a man without being emotionally stable. That's what women seek in men. That's something that they don't always have, meaning that they can't have presence of mind in tough situations. Number two, a man should be strong physically, mentally, spiritually, meaning that you're a rock, you're reliable. Why would a woman want you if she can't rely on you? Often, women errantly say they want a man with money or a man who's financially stable. Money is a proxy for other things. They get confused. What they really want is a man who's emotionally stable. Huh? Why? Because you can lose your money, but you'll never lose your presence of mind. Wealthy men can become poor men, but real men who have something in here and in here, whether you lose money today or tomorrow, you'll be able to get it back. You'll always be able to bounce back. The key to success in life is not having money. It's knowing how to get money. You feel me? And that's called being a hustler. Every woman loves that. Every man should be a hustler. Every man should have emotional intelligence. Every man should be stable, mentally, physically, spiritually, strong. So those are my rudiments for manhood. Hope that helps you. Just going back through, make sure that I have not missed any of the super chats. We got that one. Thank you for the super chat, all of the saints who are showing their love and support. Eric writes, Marquette, you are certainly a cut above the normal self-help tropes. Congratulations. I appreciate that. I really seek to give you things that are practical that you can do today. I don't want to preach at you. I want to give you a few things you can use. I want to give you a next step. And so I'm intensely focused on making the things simple and easy to do. So thank you for that. We got that one. Turner, thank you for the support and pointing out how much game we have on patreon.com/the Saint the Sinner. Nina, yes, shout out to Lewis. Lewis is winning, and we love to see that. Love to see people in the Assassin rise up. He says thanks. Marquette, appreciate the one-on-one consults. Just want others to know that this is possible and very helpful. Holla at me if you ever make a pit stop in San Antonio. Man, I just left Texas earlier today. I may end up in San Antonio, and I definitely will let you know if that is the case. And yes, I do one-on-one consultations. We pretty much talk about anything that you want. And you schedule that by emailing Bridget@fletchapp.com or using the link that I posted in the chat earlier. Cragen, appreciate the super chat, Saint. We answered that question. Wilman Fernandez, the second. A familiar name. Saint, good to see you again. What is the incentive for the woman to follow my leadership/standard? Number one, every woman wants to follow a leader. You'd be surprised to know that most women don't want to make all of the hard decisions. The reason they want someone to take care of them is because what is the position of being taken care of? Who do we take care of? We take care of babies. We take care of children, right? Women want to be able to get into that position to where they can be carefree. They can be light. And for them to be light, they don't have to be thinking about possible dangers. They don't have to be thinking about what's next, what's on the horizon. They don't have to be the leader out in front. So when you show that you are a good leader, it's easy for a woman to want to follow you. Just like in partner dancing, you'll have women who might dance with one guy and they're like, damn, I don't like dancing with him. Why? He's not a good leader. When he does this, she doesn't know which way to spin because he didn't give a clear, strong lead. When a man is clear and strong in his lead, the woman is going to want to dance with you. She's going to want to see where you take her to because she knows you are going to the promised land. That's the incentive. She knows you're going straight to the top. Who doesn't want to follow someone to the mountaintop? Okay. Do you still eat sardines? Do I? Bruh. As soon as I finish my my weigh-in, I'm about to eat these crackers with some sardines. You dig? Absolutely. I love them after watching your video, Life of an Assassin. Yes, I have a video on patreon.com/the center. Talks about how to live like an assassin. Currently studying computer science in school. Any tips on how to start a business in the meantime? That's a very broad question. Yes, I have many tips on starting a business, but the question is what kind of business, online, offline, Amazon, like there's so many things wrapped up in that. My advice is if you're serious about your computer science degree is to study hard, get some skills in a practical programming language like Python, Java, Swift, things like this. And I would offer your skills on Elance or some of these online services where you can work hourly and make some good money while you come up with a meaningful idea. Any thoughts on how to develop or strengthen emotional stability as a man? I think I may have answered that already. But number one, the way to develop and strengthen emotional stability is to be rational. And when you write things down, it helps you with your rationality. So that's number one. When you have a lot of things flooding you, a lot of seeming fires that are occurring, write it down. Write all this stuff down on a list. And then ask yourself, which of these things do I not need to do? Cross it off the list. Which one of these things are priority? Put it at the top of the list. Start working on that one thing intensely with focus. That's number one. When you write it down, it's easier to manage because you don't have a bunch of things floating around in your head. Number two, best way to be develop your emotional stability is to take out time to think. When something occurs, you don't have to react immediately. You can take out time to take a breath and feel free to tell someone, let me get back to you. Let me think about that. Let me meditate on that. Let me sleep on it. When you react too quickly, you're often going to react in the wrong way if you're emotional. If you have assessed that you're emotional about something, ask for more time and get back to that person. That's a great way to display emotional intelligence and to develop emotional stability. It looks like we have taken care of all the super chats. If I somehow missed your super chat, please do know that it is appreciated and please forgive me, but I've scrolled all the way through multiple times. I do believe that I have addressed everyone's super chat. We're going to end this the right way, the way that we always end this, with the creed of the assassin. Wherever you are in the world, I want you to repeat this with high levels of conviction because this is true of you And the more this becomes true of you, the more empowered you will be, whether you're a man or a woman. So let us go into the creed of the assassin. Repeat after me, the creed of the assassin. I'm going to be who I truly am because I am remarkable, and I will strive every moment to show the greatest part of who I am. Saints, it is truly a pleasure to have been with you. Until next time.